Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss about machine learning, what is machine learning, and the different types of machine learning, and the applications where the machine learning is used. So we'll discuss all these things in the today class. So machine learning actually that came from a family of artificial intelligence. We can say that the machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. So before going into the depth into the machine learning, we'll discuss what is a machine learning. So machine learning is nothing but the machine itself learns from the past experiences given by the system. So based on the past experiences, it predicts the correct output that may be useful to the remaining areas. So the machine learning is broadly divided into four areas. The categories are supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, reinforcement machine learning, and semi-supervised learning. So we'll discuss one by one today. The first one is supervised learning. The supervised learning is nothing but it contains a supervision. So supervision is nothing but we can know the data. The known data is known as labeled data. So if you observe the diagram, the data, labeled data, this is a labeled data, and this labeled data contains labels. So if you observe that here the labels are hexagon, triangle, and squares. So based on this labeled data, we are very clear about the labels. So we are going to train the labeled data. So after training the labeled data, we will get the prediction. So based on the prediction, in order to check whether that prediction is correct or not, then we are going to perform some test data on that prediction. Generally we can say that the test data is of 20% and the training data is of 80%. So 20% of test data is going to perform on the prediction. So if the prediction is true, if the test data is matches with the prediction, then we can say that the labels are square and triangle. In order to cross check the data, we are going to check our label data. Here we are having labels square and triangle here, and at the same time we are having the output is square and triangle. So with this we can say that our supervised machine learning algorithm works very perfectly. Now coming to the next one, the supervised machine learning is mainly classified into two categories, and the two categories are regression and classification. We'll see what is regression and what is classification. Coming to the regression, regression is nothing but it is just a line, and it separates two values. The two values are with respect to dependent variable and independent variable. So based on the dependent, we can predict the independent. Based on the independent, we can predict the dependent. That comes under the regression. So if you observe that dependent variable on the y-axis and the independent variable on the x-axis, so data points are there. So we just draw on a line and we separated the data points with respect to dependent variable and independent variable. The next one is there are various types of regression models. The examples for this are linear regression, logistic regression, polynomial regression, support vector machines, decision tree, and random forest regression. Next one is classification. Classification is nothing but classifying the things. The classifying the things in terms of either binary forms, that is 0 or 1, or true or false, or yes or no. So that is nothing but classification. Suppose if you observe these diagrams, we can say that class A, the class A completely belongs to the circles. So class A is classified into circles. At the same time, class B, the class B is classified into triangles. Coming to the types of classification algorithms, there are two types of classification algorithms, the linear models and non-linear models. The linear models are nothing but logistic regression, support vector machines. Non-linear models are nothing but k-nearest neighbors, kernel SVM, naive Bayes, decision tree classification, and random forest classification. Same concepts are there in the regression and same concepts are there in the classification. So we can work with respect to the regression in the regression, and we can work with respect to the classification in the classification areas. Now coming to the unsupervised learning. The unsupervised learning is nothing but it is different to the supervised learning. As we discussed in the previous, we can say that the supervised learning contains supervision. So we can identify the labels are there. As we discussed there, we can expect what is a triangle, what is a rectangle, what is a square there. So coming to the unsupervised learning, here there is no concept of supervision. We are not predicting the labels. We don't know what are the labels. So that's why we wrote here unlabeled data. By seeing the diagram itself, we can say that this is a cat, this is a dog. We can know. But for this system, these things are system are unable to know. So that's why we call it as unlabeled data. There is no labels for them. We need to identify that that is a cat and that is a dog. So based on the algorithm. So the first step under the unsupervised learning is interpretation. Interpretation means we are giving some label values to that one. After that, we are going to perform a machine learning algorithm on that. So in that machine learning algorithm, we are going to pre-processing. In that pre-processing, we can clean the data, reduce the data, integrate the data. So based on the requirement, after that, finally, we can say that the output is the dogs and cats. The only difference with the supervised learning and unsupervised learning is here the supervised learning, it contains the labeled data. Here it contains the unlabeled data. The main categories under this unsupervised learning are two categories are there. That is, the first one is clustering and the second one is association. So we'll discuss about what is clustering and what is the association. Coming to the clustering, clustering is nothing but grouping similar kind of data together. If the data is not related to that one, then we are going to move that cluster to the another cluster. So if you observe this diagram, so what we mentioned there is group that has less or no similarities with another group, which means that it need to contain only similar kind of data. So if you observe that this is a raw data and this raw data is a combination of apples, strawberries, guavas and so on. So we are going to perform some algorithm on that. So in that algorithm it separates apples at one place and guavas at one place and strawberries at one place. This is nothing but clustering. If you observe that there is no contradiction or no what we can say clumsy in that data. By seeing the diagram itself, we can say that this group contains apples, that group contains guavas and this group contains strawberries. That is nothing but clustering. Clustering mainly focuses on grouping similar kind of data items together. And coming to the next one, there are different types of clustering concepts are there, and the clustering concepts are hard clustering and soft clustering. So hard clustering is nothing but data points belongs to only one group. Coming to the soft clustering, data points can belongs to any other group. So these are the different types of clustering. Partition clustering, as the name itself indicating that the clusters are partitioned together. Next, density based clustering, based on the value the clustering will be formed. Distribution model based clustering, so clusterings are distributed accordingly. Next one, hierarchical clustering, so one after the another in a hierarchical manner the clustering will be formed. And the next one, fuzzy clustering. Now coming next one is association. So association is another part that is used in the unsupervised learning. So where association is nothing but it checks. Association learning is a type of unsupervised learning technique that checks for the dependency of one data item on another data item and maps accordingly so that it can be more profitable. For example, we can say that suppose we went to any supermarket, if you buy one X item, then obviously will depend on Y item. The best example for this is, suppose if you buy a bread, then obviously will depend on milk. So these two things are compulsory. We are going to buy these two things simultaneously. So this kind of situation is known as association. So finally, the supermarket managers or all those managers analysis what is the items that are frequently brought together. So based on that frequently brought together, for example, if they observe that 500 or 1000 items are frequently brought together, then they can place that those frequently brought items at one place so that the majority of the people can buy them, and that may become the profitable. So profitable to the company. So in that way, the association algorithm will works. So coming to the association, mainly there are two types of association are there. The first one is a priori algorithm and the second one is FP growth algorithm. As we discussed now, FP growth is nothing but frequent pattern growth algorithm. What are the items that are brought together frequently in a supermarket or any other area? Coming to the next one, reinforcement learning. This is another technique that is used in the machine learning. Coming to the reinforcement learning, it is nothing but we are going to follow some object in an environment. Let us say we are having a small robot or small Alexa with us. If we are giving any commands like that, Alexa play a song, Alexa please switch on the light, then Alexa is going to follow our commands. So then that kind of learning things and the robot that is following a human based commands, those things are known as reinforcement learning. So the same thing is described here. It is a type of machine learning method where an intelligent agent, where that intelligent agent is nothing but a robot, interacts with the environment and learns to act within it. So that kind of situation is known as reinforcement learning. So the reinforcement learning mainly acts with this diagram. So in the reinforcement learning, it takes the main raw input data. So this raw input data is placed in an environment. So in that environment, it acts as a state where the state is reached to agent. After that agent, it selects algorithm. If it is best action, then again it repeats. If it is wrong action, then we need to restart this entire process. So this entire process is known as reinforcement machine learning. After the reinforcement machine learning, the final output is we need to segregate different types of data together. So if you observe that the star marks and square marks and some star marks are segregated differently. So in this manner, reinforcement learning works. Coming to the last one, that is semi-supervised machine learning algorithm. So semi-supervised machine learning algorithm is nothing but it is the fourth kind of machine learning algorithm. So as the name indicating that it is the partial supervised learning and partial unsupervised learning. So it deals with the both labeled data and both unlabeled data. So if any drawbacks there in the supervised learning algorithm, that is overcome in this semi-supervised algorithm. At the same time, if any drawbacks is there in the unsupervised learning algorithm, that is overcome in this supervised learning algorithm. So finally, the drawbacks of this semi-supervised, the drawbacks of supervised and unsupervised are solved with this semi-supervised learning algorithm. So the semi-supervised learning algorithm is a continuous process. It does not stops with the machine learning like supervised learning algorithm. We know once what is the happening with the supervised learning algorithm. Once supervised learning algorithm is there, if we got any output, then that is obviously stopped there. Coming to the unsupervised machine learning algorithm, if any interesting hidden facts find, then we can say that the algorithm stops itself. Coming to the reinforcement learning algorithm, as a robot or anything or any mission acts based on the instructions given by the supervisor. Coming to the semi-supervised learning algorithm, it is a continuous process. It is a continuous process. So we can say that the examples for semi-supervised learning algorithms are speech analysis. If any speech is given with a mobile, then the speech need to convert into a text, or based on the speech we need to get some output. For example, you can say, Alexa please call to some person, then obviously the call need to go to that particular person. In this manner, the semi-supervised machine learning algorithm will works. Coming to the web content classification, always this is one of the booming technique coming this. So all the categories that is related to entertainment, devotional, educational, all these things need to classify based on the requirement and based on the access given to the people. And the next one, what the applications of machine learning algorithm. The first one is automatic friend tagging suggestion. If you observe that we can guess in the Facebook and Instagram. If any friend request went to our friend, then obviously the mutual friends, if any, that comes to our notification, so that this is our friend, or this friend belongs to our college, this friend belongs to our area, this friend comes to our locality. So that kind of notifications comes into the picture. That is known as automatic friend tagging suggestion. So that is happened with the help of machine learning algorithm only. Next, coming to the computer speech recognition. As we said that if you tell anything, Alexa, please make a call to that person, then the call need to go. And nowadays the trending thing is, if you want to type 100 pages of document, obviously we are putting a earphones with us and we are reading the document. Obviously the test is placing on there. So that is happening with the Google documents. So that is also a concept of machine learning. Next, coming to the traffic prediction, one of the best app that the cab drivers are using in this. While we are book a cab from one place to another place, obviously the cab drivers put a navigation button. That we know that obviously if you put the map, the navigation shows us the less traffic area, so that we can reach our destination very safely and easily. So that comes with the machine learning algorithm also. Next, coming to the product recommendation in Amazon and Netflix. Not only Amazon and Netflix, if you observe anything, suppose if you want to buy a earphones in a one Amazon website, based on some work or some ignorance, we just move to another website. So obviously it gives the recommendations. Amazon, AirPods, this is the price. Until we buy that prediction, it gives the notifications obviously. So that comes under product recommendation. Next, coming to the self-driving cars. So this need to be come very effectively in India. As of now, we are having very less thing. Next, coming to the email spam and malware filtering. That we know that if any email come from the unknown sender, that obviously goes to the spam. When we mark it as please mark this is a not spam, then obviously that comes under our inbox. So we know very well spam. Obviously every mail from the unknown sender, that is goes to spam only. If you mark it as no spam, then obviously it appears in the inbox. So that is known as email spam and malware filtering. Next, coming to the online fraud detection. Especially the online fraud detection comes with the credit cards only. When we forget the credit cards in our pockets or in the ATMs, someone loot the credit cards because of the Wi-Fi technology. So they can swipe and they can use. So the machine learning algorithms are used for this online fraud detection. Next, medical diagnosis. When the machine learning applications are useful for the education and the agriculture and the medical, then we can say that we build our society. So medical diagnosis is one of the important area in the machine learning, so that we can predict the problem internally, externally. We can what we can say, we can round the heart, so that where the problem arises expected manner. So that comes under medical diagnosis. And coming to the automatic language translation, when we speak to English, when that need to convert to Telugu, when we want that need to convert to Hindi or some Tamil, that need to be happen. That when we typed in the Google Translate, obviously some columns will appear. We need to select two languages in both the column. For example, one column English and the another column is Tamil. In English, we wrote happy Engineers Day. Coming to the it automatically convert into Tamil, so we can use that Tamil version. So that is nothing but automatic language translation. This is one of the best application in the machine learning. Next, so that's all for today. If any doubts, we can raise.